What's up, gang? It's your boy D Brooks coming with another video. Today we're gonna be in here trying to clean up some more. This is part two, shop cleanup part two. Last week we got a hold of the engine. We worked on the vent tubes, took the radiator out, and capped off the rear vent tube holes. And this time I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to organize some of this wiring in here, find my power wires, think about where I'm gonna put the harness and stuff like that, and then just kind of move forward with the project a little bit at a time. I did get some studs for this car. I'm gonna show you guys that. I got some wheels for it. I got some big boy wheels. I don't have them here in the shop with me, but I got some put up, and we got some studs, 46160. If you're trying to put some big wheels on here, especially like the custom wheels, like the 4Gs and the Ruchis, you need these, so your wheels don't fall off. These extend your wheel studs out a little bit further, so you get some good grip to fasten them down. But yeah, we got those on deck, and yeah, man, I'm gonna try to have a productive month this month. This is February 2023, so maybe we can get this thing started by the end of the month. Make that the goal. It's not February, it's January. It's January, but before the end of...
Before the beginning of February?
Well, let's try to get it started before the end of the month. We got about 2 weeks. I think we can get it started. I'm not saying it's gonna be driving by then, but I think we can get our first start before then. So that's the goal. I think it's real possible. Right now, you guys see where we're at. Engine just sitting in there, transmission sitting in there, bolted down, fastened in there. So that's the goal. We're gonna try to get it started before the end of the month as far as turnkey. So y'all stay tuned in. We'll be dropping videos as we get there, all right? I'll cut y'all back on in a minute. So over here on the power side, let's see, we got basically this purple wire here, and we got this red wire. I believe these are, now this is crazy right here. This is cut. I don't know if I did that last time or whatnot, but looks like both of these wires go to the starter. I hate like untaping stuff because then I got to tape it up and it's all greasy. But I believe this is a fusible link from the factory right in here. Yeah, it says fusible. That's a fusible link from the factory. These are crimps from the factory. Fusible link GA. So basically, if this goes bad, you got to replace it, and then this splits off to two different things. Not sure where this went. Probably parallel feeds, one to go from the ignition to the starter, and then the other one goes probably to all the accessories, maybe the HVAC or something like that. It's hard to tell. I don't see the other part of it. Maybe it went to this. No, didn't go to that. This is also cut, so it's hard to tell, man. The good thing is we're gonna be running a lot of our own wires. This is also positive. So we're gonna look at this stuff a little bit closer here shortly. Let's see, this looks like it was melted or broken. Some of this stuff is not relevant. Some of this stuff is not relevant to what we're doing at all. But these wires are. I like to reuse these wires a lot of the times. I have to get back into some of my book because I forget what some of this stuff goes to. I know a lot of this goes to the starter, especially these two. These both go to the starter. One may be for the key on, one may be constant. I remember now, I think I remember now. This is like constant, and then this is like ignition, and then this is your solenoid for your starter. So this is like your ignition switch, okay? So this actually goes to the solenoid. This is like constant power, and then this is like ignition power, all right? So we'll reuse that. Now, some of this stuff probably went back and fed other things in the harness, and I'll have to look and see if I can find those things. Maybe it's gone, maybe it's not, maybe it was on the other engine. Just stuff like the, I don't know, like the AC clutch or HVAC, I'm not sure. Or the coil, probably to the coil, you know, I don't know. But it ain't here now, so we'll probably just cap those off and not use it, okay? Let's see here. There's no wires in this loom. Let's see. There's no wire in this loom. This wire probably is all supposed to be in this loom. Looks like it's supposed to be in this loom. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll at least put that back up in there. I'm gonna have to tap into the Google function in a little bit to figure out exactly where everything goes. I like to know. Man, a lot of this stuff got burnt, looked like, on the old setup. You know, you gotta look at stuff like that. Like, dang, that's burnt. That could be arcing or anything. So those two wires could be touching, could be raw. You never know. I wanna say, dang, that actually melted the insulation on the wire too. Actually, the wire is fine, but this loom got melted, but the wire did not get melted. So, but this is, it's pretty bad. You know, look at that. So, I know a lot of people are like, I would probably just get rid of all that and start fresh. You don't have to. I mean, majority of this I will get rid of. Majority of it will go. I think some of this stuff that's in the green, it went to like the air conditioning and stuff like that. We don't need it to run the engine. Yeah, a lot of stuff we don't need to run the engine. So, I mean, some of the stuff is cut already. So, a lot of it I probably cut. So, yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Yep, a lot of it's a mess. Told y'all we'd be doing some wiring stuff, and we are. I need to really find out where some of these wires come from, because I can just de-pin them down there in the fuse box and not use them. I don't think I'll be using them. Most of these is from the engine. Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave them like this right now. All right. I really don't want to keep them. That's not going to be used. This is aftermarket. Somebody put this in. Yep. Not using that. Not using that. And that's the ground. We'll need to use that somewhere. That'll connect somewhere in the harness. This right here, able to reuse that somehow, but it won't be needed to start it. The green one won't be needed to start it. Pink wire, I remember this goes into the coil. That's like 12. Yeah, so we'll have to look at some Google Docs real quick. We'll have to look at some Google Docs. Not Google Docs, but we'll have to look at some stuff on Google. Figure out the color codes on what these wires are, but really the only wires I'm gonna be dealing with are this pink wire, this red wire, and this purple wire. And running those to the starter. And that's really it as far as to get this engine running. Everything else we can figure out later, but those wires are critical. Like I said, I believe this is 12 volts switched, which we will need. The red, I believe, is 12 volts constant. The purple is the ignition switch. I think I remember it that way. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know, but I believe 12 volts switched. 12 volts constant, ignition switch on the purple. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I think I know it, but y'all let me know. I'm gonna look at it on Google real quick. It's been a while. Y'all stay tuned. All right, gang, so we back again, man. We back again. I went ahead and looked it up just to make sure. And shout out to LM7 Rider Chevy, LM7 Chevy Rider on YouTube for having a quick video that said exactly what I wanted to know, and it did confirm. This is the ignition coil wire, which we thought it was. One of these is the battery, 12 volt constant. The other one's the alternator, which is also 12 volt constant. And then this one right here is your starter switch signal. So pretty much these are the main wires you need right here to get it started. You run a battery wire down here, basically one from the alternator. I'll probably run a heavier one. I probably won't even use that alternator wire. I'm gonna run a bigger wire. So that way we can just basically get 12 volts there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. So we'll run a bigger, heavier gauge wire from the alternator. Actually, yeah, we'll run a heavier gauge wire from the alternator because we got one coming from the starter. We're gonna jump down there and we're gonna go straight to the alternator as well. So that way we have kind of like a little terminal block there. It's kind of like a terminal block, little junction there. But we'll have one coming from the starter, from the battery down to the starter, and then from the starter back up to the alternator. It's gonna be heavy gauge instead of running that one off of the red right there. Let's take a peek at it. So let's take a peek. All right, so this guy right here, this one was going to the alternator before. We may still want to run this one because it'll give us a battery light. We'll run this one, it'll give us a battery light. But we're gonna run this, go to the alternator. Boom, that'll go up to the alternator. These two right here, these two merge down to go to the starter. And then this goes to the starter as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna run one off of here back up to the alternator. Like I'm gonna jump down there, It's 12 volts. We're gonna jump back up to the alternator. And then also, this will give us our battery light. So this will actually run, this will actually go back, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this will work on the gauge. It might have been cut. I don't know if it'll read it the way it's looking here, but I believe this will actually go back to the gauge. So we'll see, that'll give us a battery light. So once we get a starter, which I think I had one from the Escalade, so we good on a starter, I think. Yeah, we got a starter hanging right here. So we got a starter hanging on the Escalade engine, the 6.0. Yeah, we'll use that guy, hook him up in there, and yeah, we'll get her situated. Sometimes you just gotta take time to wrap your head around things again, man. It's been a while. Like I told you guys, it's been a while. But we'll get that starter hooked up in there. I think I got some bolts too, some bolts. I think I gave those to the homie. We charged them for him though. We gave him the bolts, but we charged them for him. So we might have to get some starter bolts if I don't have any. Here's one starter bolt, and we need 2 of them. We'll see if we can come up with 2 of them, but we definitely need 2 starter bolts to get this thing bolted on there. We'll see what we can come up with, but yeah, we got the starter on there. You know? So it looks like I got one here, and I already found one a couple minutes before. So between these 3 bolts, they all kind of have that little hex, little crosshatch on them. They're all a little different. Let's see. We'll run it up on one of these blocks to see. These 2 look very similar here. Let's see if this nut fits all 3 of them. It's tight on this one, I don't know. Kind of acts like it's gonna go on and then it doesn't. Best thing we can do is go try it on one of these blocks and see. These might be for a Chevy small block and not a LS, so. Let's just see here. That one kind of works right there, which seems to be closer to the other one. Okay, so that works, right? That one went up in there, and that one looks like that one, sort of, right? Let's try this one. See, that's loose. That's not what we want. I don't think that's what we want. Yeah, that fits good. Yeah, that guy went all the way up through there. But we know these 2 will. So We got our starter bolts here. And now we got to get our starter on there. And then we got a harness. So that we plug your phone back in, it's charging good. All right, so I got harnesses around here somewhere in a box. It must be on the back there. We got this, okay, we got that going on. All right, so I'm liking what I see here. I like what I see. So let me look at this again. This is your battery positive wire right here. This was on the alternator back in the day. See that? That was on the alternator back in the day. We're gonna probably go with something heavier. Like I said, I'm gonna tap something off of there, and I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this for something else. It doesn't matter if I take it from there or here to get to the battery, to the alternator. There's still contact. It's a terminal block. There's a connection there. Yes, it probably would be a little bit better if I came directly off the battery with this to the alternator, but I want a heavier wire from the battery, so yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run a heavier wire. So, looks like to me, back in the day, they ran this wire from the battery right here, straight down to the damn alternator. Down to the starter down there. So boom, make sure I got enough. It goes all the way down there. I ain't gonna even reach, is it? It might reach. If that don't reach, we're gonna have to get a different wire anyways. Cause I gotta have my battery right here. But this is some nice wire. Nice little terminals on it and everything. If it reaches, that'll be great, but it don't look like it's gonna reach. You know, these are the things, guys. These are the things, like, you kind of have to, like, just kind of prepare yourself for. But you can't always prepare yourself for, especially if you're trying to do it on a budget. So it sets you back on time, you know, once you got wires sitting around and stuff like that, which I may or may not have. I actually probably do have it. Let's go look. So this is obviously factory wire, and I've got some factory wire on that 6.0 too. But this actually comes right off of this came off one of them trucks. So what I'll do is I'll probably use this, because I usually use this to start my engines anyways, but we'll hook this up to the starter, hook this up to one of them terminals, I guess, for now. There's some good wire on this too. There's some wire that goes from that terminal block, which that terminal block is actually nice. Yeah, look, check this out, guys. I'm a little distracted, but if you're able to use this terminal block, man, you got a nice wire straight from here, straight to your alternator. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had like a little radio hooked up on here, but this ain't gotta be here. But you got a terminal wire right here, straight to your alternator, and then it goes from there straight to your starter. So that's like all the wiring done for you. This is that wire right here. This is that same wire. Because you can see I cut it. But this is the same wire, except for on this particular application, it didn't have this terminal block. But yeah, that's the same wire. Depending on what I got laying around over there, I may just take this whole bracket and this wire and this alternator and put it over there. I may just take that whole situation. Y'all know how I get down. If it's over here, I'm gonna use it. So I may take this, boom, take it off of the back of there, take this bracket, power steering pump and everything, just throw it right on there. Now, I wanna say this particular power steering setup had the, what they call the hydraulic brake assist. So it's got like a splitter on here. So we may not use this power steering setup per se. I have to look into that a little bit or see if I can block off a part of that, because this is for like hydraulic assist braking. That's what was on that Escalade, which we're not going to use. So let me see. Maybe it ain't. Maybe it will work. Hold on. So you got your. Yeah, we may just be able to take this line off here. Yeah, we'll just take this line off here and make our own line, and then with like the AN fittings, and we can still use this power steering pump. This will be the return. This is the pressure out, but we're just gonna take it and put it right into our gearbox. So this will work out perfect for us, guys. Yeah, this will work out real good. We won't have to do a whole bunch of wiring or plumbing. We'll just take this right off of here and put it in that box Chevy. Yeah, so who would have thought though? You know what I'm saying? It would fit on another LS. Kind of common sense, but sometimes we overthink things and we go to spend more money, but some of this stuff you got sitting right here in front of you. You know what I mean? We got the starter bolts. We got most of our wiring. We got our power steering set up. Hell, we even got the belt and alternator and everything if we want to be all the way technical about it. Let's see if this is the same plug that our harness is going to use. I don't think so, so we may have to get a different alternator, but we got plenty of alternators too, so that ain't going to be a big deal either. So, yeah, man. And actually, if I remember correct, I just put the water pump on this 6.0, so this water pump is good too. Yeah, I might take the intake. Everything might come off of here. And I know this one ran because it was in my old Escalade. So, you know, this thing used to be, I mean, it was wild, man. You'd be, well, it was actually, yeah. We're gonna get down. We're gonna get that taken care of. We're gonna take that line off of there. It's gonna make a mess. As soon as I take that line off, it's gonna drain out. So I gotta be ready for that. Gotta be ready for that. We still have, hell, we are in good shape. We may be able to use this old line because we got the old power steering pump right here. Maybe to take this line, because that's why I did this, guys. It was leaking and everything. I left this old power steering pump in here in case I wanted to use these lines. And well, looks like I'm gonna be able to use these lines. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all stay tuned, man. I'll cut you back on in a minute. Cut. All right, guys, so I found some more stuff in the shop. So we had a little bit of a change of plans here. So over here on the Escalade, we have the wires that we need, right? We're just gonna take them off of here. Boom, 2 bolts. Take it, the wire was behind here, I untucked it, boom. And then there's probably 2 bolts holding the wire underneath the crank pulley, and then it goes around to the side of the engine over there. We're gonna go ahead and use this one right here because it's already off. It's already off already. And we're just gonna take the wires. This was in one of them engines. I can't remember. This thing was probably in my backyard for a year. All right. It's probably in my backyard for a year. But anyways, I got faith in it. I got faith in it. Let's see what that transmission fluid looking like. Yeah, man, this is perfect. This is perfect, man. Oh yeah, that smells good, man. That smells good, man. Yeah, that smelled good, man. This is a remanufactured unit right here. Look, that means it's been rebuilt, man. That means it's been rebuilt, man. So we're gonna reuse this. We're just gonna take this line out right here and put the line in from the Box Chevy, okay? We're just gonna bolt that bad boy up. We may hit the whole unit with some purple power, clean it up, degrease it, hit it with some paint real quick, and then we're gonna reuse that, man. Bring them back to life. Bring them back. Yep, we're gonna bring him back. Hopefully bring this engine back to life. So yeah, we're finding all the pieces to the puzzle, gang. Shoot, this might have came off this engine. You know, I did pull the whole engine when I was at the junkyard. It might have came off this engine. But yeah, so I keep a lot of stuff like this because, look, I'm about to save a gang of money, man. I'm about to save a bag of money right here. So let's get busy. We're gonna put some PB Blaster on that line so we don't, you know, strip anything. We're gonna get that off. And then we'll go ahead and get this line disconnected. And we got the bolts laying around somewhere in that drawer to bolt this thing to the engine block. We got the bolts around here somewhere. And then we'll go ahead and bolt that up. And then we'll run that wire and that bracket so we can get it over to the starter. And man, we'll be cooking with grease from there. We'll be cooking with straight Crisco. All right, so we got the penetrating roll, guys. So we're gonna get this on that line. Let that sit. This stuff's probably about 10 years old. It was probably in one of them cars I got when I got it. But you know, I don't throw shit away. But I ain't running to the parts store trying to buy none right now either. So that's probably enough. That's probably enough right there. And we'll let that set up for a second. We'll let that set up for a second. I should probably hit the other side too. even though it don't look rusty. We'll hit the Box Chevy side too with some PB Blaster on this line. Yeah, right there. Right on that line right there. Yeah, we'll hit it with that. That'll help us get the line cracked open, and then we'll get that line cracked open. We'll set this bad boy up. I kind of want to paint it first before we do all that. So we may not do it tonight because I do want it to kind of look good. I mean, the engine is kind of painted and stuff, so yeah, maybe we'll hit it with some cleaner and paint it. I had a spray bottle. I don't know exactly where it's at. We did clean up a little bit in here, but the spray bottle is nowhere to be found, so I got some totally awesome and stuff, but yeah, so I may have to grab another spray bottle. But yeah, we'll clean that up. I think that alternator will work out fine. It looks bad, but believe me, it'll work out. So yeah, that'll be great. That'll be perfect. And I love when I find stuff. Like, I don't know if I said this when we was on the last time, but I love finding stuff that I can use because I get to clean up a little bit and I get to not spend money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually gonna be able to put this all together and not spend any extra tonight or tomorrow, whenever I get back over here. Now I got like ammunition to get stuff done, you know? So the only thing I can see myself spending some money on at this point is probably a spray bottle. So we can get this cleaned up. I wanna clean it up, at least with some degreaser. I might even buy some Purple Power, who knows? Hit it with that. Not Purple Power, but Super Clean or whatever. The guys keep using that, so. It's like a foam, like oven cleaner. Hit it with that and then spray it off. Maybe scrub it with a brush, but yeah, so that'll be good. So that's that. We found out which wires we want to use for the starter, right? I'm trying to do something, but I also don't want to like have to undo it. You know what I mean? Me throwing it in there tonight would just make me like want to reinstall it later after I paint it. So it's gonna cost me more time. Let's continue to think a little bit here. So we know we're gonna be able to use this power steering pump line. We're gonna use this line, which is good. Then we also know that we have this as our key on 12 volt power. So we need that for our harness. This is switched power right here. That's switched power. That's one of the 4 wires you guys need to start these engines. You need switch power, you need 12 volt constant, you need grounds, and then there's one more, fuel pump. So you gotta have your fuel pump. Yeah, I think that's it. Fuel pump, 12 volt constant, 12 volt switched, and what was the other one I said? Can't remember either. Fuel pump, 12 volt constant, 12 volt switched, and grounds. We gotta have the grounds. So I think that's what they call a 4-wire start, you know. Gotta have that, So fuel pump, 12 volt constant, 12 volt switched, and ground, gotta have that. And honestly, that's what I have over there, except for I don't hook up. When I'm talking about over there, I'm talking about when I do my carburetor setup. I don't have a fuel pump because it's carbureted. You know what I'm saying? What we'll end up doing with this, because it's not fuel injected yet, if we want to start it early, we'll make a little fuel injection setup. We'll put a fuel pump in a fuel tank or something in a bucket, you know what I'm saying, and hook it up with a fuel line, and we'll get a fuel pump hooked up and everything so y'all can hear it and see it and stuff. So that would be cool. Man, I know I'm like talking a big game, but it ain't running yet, you know? I feel like y'all gonna say he a fraud, you know, something like that, you know. But y'all just keep tuning in, man. There's still a lot that I haven't talked about. We gotta put exhaust on this thing, which we're gonna do the manifolds. We gotta do the shifter switch. Not the shifter switch, but we're either gonna do a floor shifter or we're gonna have to do like a linkage of some sort. This linkage may work, I don't know. I have to look at the blogs and stuff and see if people are using the same linkage on their 480s. That may work. I wanna say, nah, none of the cars that I've done that I use the same linkage except for the Cadillac. The Cadillac, I use the same linkage because I use the same transmission. I use the TH400. But anytime I switch the transmission, I think I also used, in the Monte Carlo, the luxury sport I used the same linkage because I used the same transmission in that one. But any of them that I changed the transmission, I always use like a different linkage. And honestly, in the Blazer, the Suburban, I use the same linkage too. It may work. It may work, guys. I haven't looked at it close enough. It may work. So I left that in there too. So front to back. We're gonna start from the front, then go to the back. We don't wanna bring any of the nasty shit to the front. So we're gonna start from the front and then go to the back. What can I do tonight? What kind of action can we get for them tonight? We've done some moving around and stuff, but what can we do tonight?
Do you want to take the starter off?
I guess we could put the starter. Well, the starter's got all the wiring that we're gonna use. But go ahead, what was your idea? I wanna hear it. Yeah, we could do that, but the reason why I'm not doing that is because I wanna put it right from there, straight onto here. And after I clean that, I wanna put it on there. Yeah, that whole bracket. I'm probably just gonna paint it black, honestly, just keep it black. But, yeah, I wanna take everything right off of here. Because I actually really like how this looks when it's all cleaned up. Because you can actually button this up and close it like that. And it looks pretty good. It looks kind of factory. Show them in the front here. When this is all cleaned up and this is painted black and stuff, it's just like a nice little finished factory look. I like that. This wire won't be in there, of course, but yeah, it cleans up real nice. You know, so I'm just gonna break this off real quick. Yeah, that'll look nice on there. A lot of guys make their engines look real nice. I'm not a super clean engine guy like that. I'll clean it up a little bit, but my engines most of the time for me are just like right out the engine. Right out the box, you know what I mean? Right out the donor box. It came out of a Chevy, it's coming right out of the Chevy. I'll clean it up a little bit. But like if I'm doing one for somebody else, they want gaskets, they want oil pan and everything, I'll do it for them. But for me, a lot of times it's right out of here into there, you know, with a little bit of cleanup. Because I know if it was running before, it's gonna run again. You know what I mean? All the extra stuff is sometimes unnecessary. I mean, if you want to build it, that's cool. But for me, a lot of times, I'm just trying to get something running with the least amount of money involved. The more you open up, the more you spend. You know? So, yeah. All right. What are you gonna do, man? The last time you was on YouTube, all you did was talk. You didn't do anything, man. You didn't do anything. Because look, all I do, man, is work all the time. So when I come over here, I game plan, and I'm game planning on YouTube today. In the next video, you might get some action. But today is game plan day. And you know, the game plan is just as important as the game.
You gotta have a game plan.
You can't have the game without the game plan.
To-do list.
To-do list, you know what I mean? And I told y'all when I did the last video, it's been a while, so I'm gonna take my time a little bit, and y'all got to be patient. You gotta be patient. Yeah, be patient with your boy, man. We gonna give y'all a good product. Just know you're gonna have to wait a little bit. You know?
And like a good thumbnail.
That'll be sweet. Yeah. Got the flare gear in there? Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't even know. This thing had a little bit of a leak. And I kept smelling antifreeze in the Escalade all the time. But like right here, you come back here, this thing was leaking. Antifreeze right here. You see it right there. Whoever put this engine together, I don't know if this was rebuilt or from the factory, but it was leaking right here. Just from these little caps. That's all right though. Yeah, this is gonna be nice. This is gonna be nice, guys. What do you think? What do you think? You think I should do something tonight? I feel like I did something, but I don't feel like I did something. Do you feel like I did anything?
I feel like you figured out what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't feel like I actually did anything, but come up with a game plan and, you know, kind of prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We gotta get I'm not gonna say a spray bottle held me up, because when I was just gonna say that, like, I gotta get a spray bottle. But I wanna paint that. Yeah, I wanna paint that stuff. I mean, we could put the intake on tonight, but I really don't wanna do that either until I get my wiring harness on there. We could lay out the wiring harness. We could lay out the wiring harness. looks like this is set up for the car style. We'll see. It's got the adapters on here. Little fuse box. Let's see what that looks like. You know, got some fuses in there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And a little fuse remover tool. Hey, that ain't bad looking. The adapter, I think this is an O2 sensor extension wires. All right, so this is like pretty much everything that's gonna go. A lot of people put everything on this side in the car. This stuff goes in the car. This is your check engine light sensor, OBD2 port, fuse box, computer connectors, your main wires that you need to hook up. You know, you got your grounds. Usually the blue one I think is the fuel pump. Orange is engine on, power, constant. White, I can't remember, but all these wires are laid out in the book. And pink, I think it's continuous hot. I can't remember. Orange is constant hot, pink is switched hot, black is ground, and a couple of these other ones, you know, you just gotta look at when you wire it up because you don't need all of them, but you need at least 4 of them. All right, and that's on the other side of the firewall. So these will go in the car, and then all this stuff plugs into the engine. All this is just plugs in. These go down by the starter, so I usually know, all right, this part of the harness is going to go down by the starter, and this is your crank sensor, and everything else kind of works up from there. That's kind of where I start. Crank sensor, right by the starter. You know what I mean? What does that say? Fuse, okay. Fuse 2. What is this right here? O2 sensor. So this is the right side of the engine. Okay. This is your transmission. This is gonna go over the transmission tunnel like that, boom. All right. And then, what was this one? I can't remember what this is right off the bat. Oh, transmission. This is like this goes on the transmission too. But, yeah, speed sensor, torque converter speed sensor, something like that. This is the left side of the engine, coil packs, grounds, you know, fuel injectors, throttle position sensor, crank position, cam position sensor, knock sensor, all that stuff. And this is the right side of the engine. So it goes like this, like a saddle, right on the engine. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I think I'm gonna keep all this out in the engine bay though. For now. All right. It goes back by the transmission. It goes down on this side. so that goes down there. And then this right here, this right here, this is your knock sensors. If I can't remember correctly, something like that. No? Okay, maybe that's not. Yeah, maybe that is. Ah, that's right. It's your knock sensors. And then we'll just leave them right there for now. Grounds, we'll ground these back there because I gotta get underneath the car. All that stuff mostly plugs into stuff that's not here. The intake is not here. The fuel injectors aren't here. The alternator is not here. The cam position sensor is here, and the crank position sensor is there. We can plug those things in. But everything else is not here. So there really isn't anything to plug into. Now, whether or not I decide to put the harness through the firewall, which I could drill it right through there and feed all this stuff through, I've thought about that and I haven't done that before, but maybe I could just drill right through that firewall right there and see if I can find a space, a big enough hole to throw everything through here, push it up through there. We might do that. I don't know where everybody else is pulling their harnesses through on these box Chevys. I usually put them in underneath the heater box, but I'm not taking the heater box out this time. So we'll have to see if I can go in through the firewall somewhere else, maybe under the dash, the firewall back there or something like that. I have to look and see where that's gonna put me, you know, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for tonight, guys. I'm here, I'm making improvements. We're running into roadblocks, and they're not big roadblocks, but they're just things that I'm glad we're addressing, and then we'll just keep going, you know, so. I'm gonna wrap this up. You guys catch us for the next one, and hopefully I'll be doing some more action for you guys. Tonight it's just a lot of talk, but you know, we're finding our way in the shop, and that's okay sometimes. It's like a podcast, but I'm in the shop, and sometimes I actually get stuff done. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Peace.